And we are back, Sure Ripe Show podcast. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. Let's get right to it. Another week, another event on the PGA Tour, Zozo Championship this week. And joining us from his basement in New Jersey, our man at Read the Line, Keith Stewart. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. The studio is quite warm this morning. Record temperatures up here in the tri-state area. Yeah, we're gonna reach like 85 degrees for mid-October, so a little Indian summer. And there's a lot of like hype in the sports world over there in Japan between Shohei Ohtani and then Hideki playing the Zozo this week. I mean, sports is center stage over there.
Yeah. Well, MLB got what they wanted. I mean, it's set up for big markets. It's not like the NFL. You can spend as much as you want. I mean, I think the Dodgers are like 320 million payroll. The Yankees are 308 million. Your average salary in Major League Baseball, I think, is right around 150 million. So you got these teams spending twice the amount. And hey, rumor has it, if you got the money and spend it, you're probably gonna get pretty good players.
Well, it hasn't really worked out. I don't know if you've been following, but the Yanks haven't been there in 15 years, and the Dodgers only have one World Series to show for all their spending over the last decade. So enjoy it while you can, because next year it'll probably be Houston and Washington again or something.
Hey, careful. Be careful throwing that Houston thing around here. You're talking to a Mariners fan. We just spend, every year we spend right around like 158. They kind of throw the fan base a nugget, big market, Seattle, and we'll just get just a little bit above the average or, somewhere in there and just continue to make the playoffs or miss the playoffs, I should say, every year. But yeah, I'll be watching. It's cool. Two iconic franchises, and it should be and just full of talent, right? Stars. I mean, my God, you got Aaron Judge and Ohtani, as you mentioned. Mookie Betts is the man. It's just Juan Soto. These guys,
Giancarlo,
it's loaded with talent. That's what you get when you spend money, and they have it, and they had good pitching too. So it'll be fun to watch. And this time of year, there's so much stuff going on. The NFL. I was up in Atlanta over the weekend watching some football up there, Seattle, Atlanta. That was fun, getting a W on the road, and so we're just like full circle. The NBA is getting ready to start.
Tonight.
Need more TVs. I got 3 in the cave. I think I might need to install a couple more.
Don't hold back. Go to 5 instantly. Double it up. Go to 6. Go from 3 to 6.
And professional golf. Last week, JT Poston. My goodness, he gets his 3rd win. I was going back and just looking, at his career, and I know JT a little bit. And first his first win, of course, was the Wyndham. Then he wins at the John Deere, and then here he is in the Shriners. And you go back, he starts to kind of put things together late summer, early fall. Seems like his iron game starts to wake up. We know JT can putt. That's his strength. But when his driver is reasonable and he tends to spike with the irons, he'll get up there, and he's not afraid to win number 3 on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and I don't know who saw it coming, but God bless him, because the last 2 tournaments that I saw JT play in, he was atrocious. And he mentioned it himself. He's like, man, I'm just playing horrible. Then he hasn't teed it up in 2 months, goes to a place he's obviously comfortable, top 5 last year there at Shriners, but he was impressive this week. And he can putt, but it goes to show you winning on the PGA Tour isn't easy. Those last couple holes, man, he was steering it at the hole as best he could just to get through. And you got to give Doug Gim some credit. He put the pressure on when everyone else kind of folded there on Sunday afternoon. It was the fall has been really entertaining down the stretch in all of these tournaments. We had a playoff at the Sanderson. Brand new winner from the Corn Ferry there at Black Desert. He hit that like unbelievable approach on the 18th and 2. And it's been great. It's been great theater. I know no one's watching, but if you were, it'd be good.
Yeah. Well, Doug Gim, he's just the opposite. He's going to come at you. He's going to, do enough with his driver. His iron game is spectacular. Yeah. And then it's just, can you get anything with the putter? And that was the first time Doug Gim has finished positive strokes gained putting since the end of June. No, I'm sorry, the end of May at the Charles Schwab. We're on a run of red here for
I thought
Doug
you were gonna
Gim.
say,
And
like, the end of World War II or something.
yeah,
You were
but
leading into
just, I mean,
that.
he's so good with his irons. I mean, just a living
Oh, yeah.
+5, +6. And, we talk about it a lot here on the show where those kinds of players, it's got to be frustrating because you're just sitting there in the fairway. Your iron game's better than most of the guys you're playing against. Gim's short game is pretty good, but his putting
Yeah.
is just like, man, I can't make enough putts. Like Joel Damon can't make enough putts. And it just goes on and on. I was happy to see along that line. I was happy. We talked about Gary Woodland, which I'm sure we will again here today.
Yeah.
We talked about how he was making a change. Rumor had it that he was been, going to maybe a lab putter. I don't know if he actually did put the lab in play, but I do know he's been working a lot with the lab. And rumor had it that he was going to put something different in play. He did. And boy, it was a big difference. I mean, his putting looked much, much better, as did Doug Gim. So, hey, who knows? Get to the fall, all of a sudden you find something with the flat stick and off you go. All right, so we got to move it over to the Zozo now. And this tournament's a little bit different because, well, A, it's in Japan. B,
Yeah.
B, there's 78 players in the field. And C, we have no cut. We've seen this golf course before, Keith. But let's give it its due diligence. Share with the audience what this course is about and what kind of player we're looking at.
Well, I'm going to add a D in that
Okay.
there's only 64 PGA Tour players there. There's 14 guys from the Japanese Tour that earn their way on. So that the field is actually at the elite level even smaller. And E, you have a couple top 10 players in the world that are all of a sudden showing up in the fall, which will make a difference. You've got Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and Hideki Matsuyama. Hideki obviously at home over there in Japan, but Accordia Golf, Narashino Country Club is a place that we're familiar with. 4 of the 5 editions of the Zozo Championship have been contested here, right there in Tokyo, in Chiba, Japan. Par 70 golf course, short, about 7,000 yards. It's got some bipolar par 4s, is what I like to call it. It's got 5. It's got 10 of them total, but it's got 5 that are under 425 yards, and it's got 5 that are over 480. So that's an interesting blend of skill set there, a little hybrid long iron wedge type player that we're looking for on approach. No doubt 3 par 5s and 5 par 3s.
Yep.
Another lean towards the approach players. When I get into these types of golf courses that are par 70, I love to look at the par 70 scores, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point, but those are guys I'm leaning on. And when you have so many short par 4s and 3 par 5s, that gives you 6 or 7 holes where you're going to need to score with some sort of awkward wedge approach in between like 30 and 80 yards, right? I love to look at the scramblers. I think that's a bit of the secret sauce. It's certainly proven in the guys that have played well there. Keegan and Hideki are 2 of the best pitchers of the golf ball, that are currently playing out on tour. Those guys have an absolutely impeccable short games from, in that range, that 50-yard range, just really, really crispy there. So something that I'm definitely featuring as I'm looking towards what we're doing here. So, yeah.
Yeah, you had, you mentioned Morikawa. He won here, 23. Keegan, 22. Hideki, that was cool, in 21.
Yeah.
And then Cantlay was at Sherwood in 2020, and then Tiger in 2019. We should probably mention E. Also, it's the strangest looking trophy in professional golf too, with the big circle. And I've been searching for the picture when I was Tiger in 2019 for Halloween, and I made the trophy. I made that trophy and was walking around with it. It was so
yeah.
It was probably, I'm not a big dress up guy for Halloween, but we put that one together, and I was really proud of it. Really proud of it. I can't find the picture on my phone.
You mentioned the uniqueness of that place. You're going to see it this week on every hole, but all 18 holes have 2 greens. So over in Japan, the elite golf courses, they put in 2 greens. They put in a Bermuda grass one, and they put in a bent grass one, so they can play 12 months of the year. And they always have great putting surfaces. So this week they're going to use 17 bent grass greens. In the 4th hole, for some reason, I'm sure it has to do with maintenance or whatever, they're using the Bermuda grass one. But overall, bent grass putting, and it really looks kind of odd when you're watching these guys and they do the drone footage or whatever, and they look and you're like, okay, where are they hitting this thing? And even the announcers have to pay attention.
All right, well, let's get after it. Only 78. Maybe I could pick a winner this week. I mean, it's just been kind of one of those years for me. I know you've been hanging in there with how many winners you got this year between
10.
PGA? You got 10 on what tour?
10 on LPGA and the PGA Tour.
Okay,
5
so
of
you
each.
got 10 total. All right, 5 of each. All right, you ready? We ready to get after this? All right, a little something we call first click.
I'm going first?
Yeah, or do you want me to go first?
All right, I'll go first. I'll go first.
No, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first. You had your chance. No, you had it. You had your chance. I'm going first because I don't want you to take my guy. I don't want you to take my guy.
All right. Who's your guy?
So Mike, you know how I go, right? And all this team no putt, all of a sudden, coming to life here. Gary Woodland figuring out how to putt. Doug Gims figuring out how to putt. Well, why not Kurt Kitayama? Because Kurt Kitayama just might be the best ball striker in this field, right? Then you go back the last 2 weeks, okay?
Yeah.
Kitayama, positive 6.3 approach at the Shriners.
Yeah.
Positive 10.6 approach at Black Desert. 10.6. Positive 7 point. I mean, this guy has really improved his ball striking. Now, to no surprise, he's been working with Chris Como, and Como's clients. He's got some higher name profiles that tend to get the spotlight. But I talked to Chris about Kurt, I would say about 3 or 4 months ago.
All right.
And I was kind of just going through and looking at swings, and I was just doing a comparison, right? And here's Kitayama's swing a year ago. Okay. Now this is when he won down in Orlando.
Okay.
Bay
Hill,
see that swing? See that left arm? All right. So early hinge, watch this. Early hinge. See that? Club head's working up. Left arm, very upright. Always had that upright left arm kind of across his ear, right? Okay, so now we fast forward. Okay, so check this out. All right, so now look at the difference here. I mean, these are wholesale changes. Look at the difference in that first move. Remember where that club head was? It was like up and out in front of him, right?
Yeah. Picking it up
that left wrist.
Jim picks it up.
Yeah, so that left wrist right there, flat. He's working that left wrist into more flexion, his left arm more around him. These are big changes. And I'm talking big wholesale changes. All right, so you go to last year. Kurt Kitayama, strokes gain off the tee, 126th. Okay. Strokes gain approach last year, 49th. This year, strokes gain off the tee, he's 17th. I mean, you want to talk about improvement. 126 to 17th. That's
wholesale
huge. I mean, that's huge improvement off the tee. Strokes gain approach last year, 49th, this year, 14th. I mean, the guy is a ball striking machine right now off the tee. His iron game, he's had some success here in the past, including a top 20 last year. Team no putt. Let's keep it rolling this fall. Kitayama goes +3 in Japan and wins.
I mean, average winning score at that place is 15 under par. You think
I know it, so it fits. It fits.
I mean, no, but like, do you think he really needs to even go +3 with the putter? Like, if he went +0.5 and he strikes it the way he has the last couple weeks, I mean, he's in his first two starts of the fall, he's gained at tee to green +7. Right? The guy is legit. It's I mean, it's fantastic. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the last couple winners here aren't necessarily flat stick aficionados.
That's right.
Morikawa,
That's exactly right.
Bradley, Matsuyama. Those leaderboards aren't littered with guys, that basically know how to super roll the rock. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. You must have been reading me yesterday, because yesterday, every Monday I do an odds drop article when the board comes out, best value, worst value, with the guys over there at Golf Digest, right? So my best value on the board was Kitayama. He was 35 yesterday. He's down in the 20s already. He was my first click. So you're lucky you went first, but yeah, Kitayama for sure.
Yep. That was your first click.
That was definitely my first click. I wrote about it yesterday. It's published. You could go check it out. I mean, no doubt that he is. I just think this is one of those places where you don't have to be the world's greatest putter, and there are very few guys striking the ball as good as him. And don't get me wrong, JT Poston didn't look very good 2 months ago. He just rolled in as a top 50 signature player and just took home the Shriners. But Kitayama was in that last group, right? Now, he didn't get the job done. He didn't putt well, but the guy felt a little heat last week, right? Yeah, and I get it. A month ago, the President's Cup, those big three, Colin, Hideki, and Xander, those guys could roll right in here to Zozo, no cut, get warmed up on Thursday, and then just, hit the gas pedal on, Saturday and Sunday and take this. I mean, Xander could win this thing by 10. So could Hideki. I mean, I get it, right? But Kitayama has the ball striking capability to keep up with those guys, and he's playing right now. He's in practice. He's in form. I love Kitayama this week. Love it.
All right, well, let's go above him now. So since that was both our first looks, and we didn't know that, folks. Maybe I did instinctively. That's why I went first, was because I knew he would steal the thunder and explain it much better than I could. But
he's got two top 30s at the Zozo.
I know. You go to the top of the board, all right, and Schauffele, all right, probably not going to bet him at 4-1. Colin Morikawa 7, Hideki's 8 right now, Sungjae's 14, Thagala is 18. If you had to pick one, where would you lean?
Hideki.
Okay.
And the only first of all, Xander's the best player there by far, and deserving of his position. He loves this event. He loves to go over there. He's got Japanese family heritage, so he takes a lot of pride in going over there. But this is Hideki's Super Bowl, and I know he hasn't played well there the last couple of years, but he was dealing with the neck and the back. I think by all means, Hideki's at home. Hideki is the name at the top there, and going back to my secret sauce and talking about the scrambling factor of it, I mean, is there a better scrambler on that top of that board than Hideki Matsuyama? There isn't.
No,
and
probably not.
If we're going to lean on Kitayama and kind of not pay attention to the putter, then we could certainly do that with Hideki, and Hideki is easily as good a ball striker as Kitayama is, for sure.
Yeah, I was trying to go back to, because it was 21 when he won? 2021? Yeah, Hideki.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? And so
yes.
So we
2021, 15 under.
Yeah, 15 under. And God, you forget that Hideki won FedEx St. Jude back in August. At least I just did.
And
his short game wasn't even really that good that week. His putting was unbelievable.
And then he was one off the lead of the BMW, and then he withdrew after round 1. See ya. Gotta go. Going to Japan. See you later. I'm back at the Tour Championship.
I do feel like over the last couple years, Hideki has become a little more of a consistent putter, better. Like that is his opportunity in his game, and it felt very problematic there for a while. But I do feel like in the last 20 to 24 months, it feels like he has improved his putting some. And I think he's elevated his maybe not so much his ceiling, but it feels like his floor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's come up.
Yeah,
like
sure.
The whole thing's a little bit better. And so, this is his Super Bowl. You're right. This means everything to him. And I know he's won it once already, but he's going to be focused. And I think that's where I would lean too. I think that's where I would lean up top.
And he won a green jacket. He is a hero over there. This is their biggest event on the golf, schedule, right? And with all this attention on Ohtani, Hideki would love to grab a little limelight the week of the World Series and win this thing in his home country and absolutely go ballistic. So, I think he'd be motivated. Which sometimes we question Hideki, how locked in he is, or if he's injured or whatever it may be. He's had plenty of rest. He was quite good at the President's Cup up there. He played well, and
hard to believe that I know it's hard to win on the PGA Tour, but if I told you since the Zozo in 2023 when Morikawa won,
Yep.
that he wouldn't win again all year, and his putting would improve,
And his short game
right?
improved.
And a short game, yeah. So if I said to you, look, back in Zozo in 2023, he wins that god awful trophy, and I said to you, Keith, he is going to improve his short game and his putting pretty significantly. And do you think he would win if those two things happened? And of course, you're going to say, yeah, absolutely, with his ball striking, right?
I would have
And he
said he
hasn't.
would have won a major.
Yeah, and he hasn't. I mean, his short game, no doubt, much better. His putting, no doubt, much better.
Much
I
better.
mean,
Yep.
it really is. And he hasn't won in a year. It's crazy.
Yeah. I would have said, based upon him being a top 5 iron player in the world in those prime couple of years when he first started, if he ever got good with his chipping and putting, he would win another major. Yeah, I would have featured him to do that,
Yeah.
and the consistency's there, and that's proof in the pudding that, like, if you are good at saving rounds and raising your floor, much to your point about Hideki, Collins, he really raised his floor by getting better with his short game. But man, he's got to kick that iron game back to where it was top 5 in the world. It's just not there.
Yeah, that's exactly. Isn't that something? That's
Yeah.
kind of golf, right? Yeah, I got my putting and short game figured out. Now I can't hit my irons.
That's golf. Yeah. No truer words forever. No truer
Now,
words were ever said.
On the flip side with Xander, who's always had more of the complete game, right?
Yep.
And we know Xander, a couple major championships this year. The Open, of course. Then he also won the PGA.
Yeah.
And so 2 significant wins, 2 major championships. And I think the improvement for Xander has been just, I think, late on Sunday. I think situational golf, Xander, I think, stepped up because he's always had the game. We know that. Like you and I have been doing this for a couple of years together, and we have always talked. I mean, Xander doesn't have a weakness. It's situational golf that holds him back. When the moment hits, is he going to push forward? He started to push forward. He started to win some of these big events, and that's been the difference. So it's just funny how things line up for golf. All right, let's go. Let's drive the ship now down into the 30s and the 35s. Is there, you take it, any names of interest?
Yeah, I was really impressed up in Montreal with Siwoo, and he's got some decent history here. Again, this is a ball striking accuracy contest. You look at the guys that have won here, it's guys that put the ball in play. They just consistently put the ball in play. It's not a long golf course, a lot of dog legs off the tee. Almost every driving hole has a dog leg, right? You're going to get 5 approach shots with a perfect lie. You got 5 par 3s. You've got, up and down hills. You got to climb them over 230 feet in elevation, and it's a 5-mile walk. You got tree line fairways. Siwoo Kim is a really good ball striker. Not the greatest of putters. And this is the type of place where he can excel because his ball striking is going to put him in contention. And then if he doesn't have to go +3 or 4 with the putter and he could just be +1, he'll be there close on Sunday. And of all these names up here, and some of them are like a huge surprise. Like I'm not surprised by Hostler being there or Gim being there or Spawn being there, like, or Power, but I'm super surprised. Like Will Zalatoris was nowhere on the betting board. He was triple digits at the end of the season, and now he's back. I guess because this is a ball striker's paradise. Everybody loves Minwoo Lee, except Minwoo Lee doesn't love his own iron game. So, like, this is a huge accuracy contest. And you've got Max Homa there.
It does feel like Will's. It does feel like a Zalatoris kind of course, though.
Oh, but you're saying that, and I would be saying that, and the books are saying that based off of history. But there's no history this year that leads us to believe that he is set in his new golf swing after the back surgery. So it's just interesting to me how when history kind of blends with the books, and all of a sudden they're like, well, everyone's going to bet Zalatoris here, so we've got to drop his number. And it's frustrating to see that or whatever, because Zal should be much higher. And but another lab putter guy, right? He's had a lot of success there. But in the middle of the board here, I would go with the hot hands. I like Siwoo Kim first, but Hostler catches my attention. dare I say his name out loud, JJ Spawn after the Sanderson. I'll say it. I mean, it's a good fit for him.
Uh,
He's blacklisted for me. It's not, well, I'm not going there, but if you
I
want to
can't
go
do it.
there, that's up to you. But in the middle of the board here, I would lean Doug Gim makes a lot of sense too, man. I mean, like that's where I would be going. Hostler, Kim, Gim. There you go.
Did you not see enough from Homa at the President's Cup? Max?
Yeah, I mean, memes don't win golf tournaments, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean,
Right?
you gotta be a little surprised, don't you, that Homa's right there?
I'm
Yeah.
to be honest with
Considering the
you,
way
I,
considering the way that he's been driving the golf ball.
well, I was more surprised to see Zalatoris than Homa. Homa at least played the President's Cup. I mean, he wasn't
I don't
great
know.
there, but
I mean, it it's just funny how like I got a couple thoughts. Let's start with Will, okay?
all right.
Because you put Will up real quick. One thing you're gonna see two things with Will. One is see that lower back.
Yep.
That lower back's gonna be much flatter. Like you're not gonna see his rear end pushed back as much.
Yep.
His pelvis for people listening who have lower back pain. Keeping your pelvis a little bit more tucked up underneath you is a better deal. Almost like you're sitting on a stool versus really pushing your rear end back. That's something you see with younger players is they'll push it back and they'll get that dish in the lower back. This is Will post surgery. So you're going to see that. I think you're going to see Will taller, and I think you're going to see Will like more, covering it kind of on top of it and not falling back to the right as much. Taller, more left through the zone. I got to tell you, I thought when we saw him in August, FedEx Day Jude 12th, BMW 13, I thought pretty clean. I don't think it's probably not autopilot yet, but I'm really interested to watch Will this week. I really am.
Oh yeah, he's fascinating for sure.
He is. I'm really interested to see him this week. I think this is a good course for him. I don't think I'm going to bet him to win, but I do think Will's on his way back. And
that would be
the
great.
golf course. Yeah, and the swing, I think, is getting a little more comfortable and whatnot. So excited there. It's interesting with Homa, right? Homa had a coach, switched to Blackburn, made significant changes, and Homa played great golf. I mean, great golf for a long stretch. And now, I don't know this for sure, but I know he's not working with Mark anymore. And I'm not sure if he went back to what he was doing. I'm not sure. But it's just interesting how the shelf life, of player coach is just limited, almost no matter who it is. It's just there's a timestamp on it. Doesn't matter how brilliant of a coach or how brilliant of the player is, you're gonna have you have a great run, and then all of a sudden something happens or whatever, and it's a little different, and you kind of get stagnant, and it switches up. So it's just really interesting, the cycle of coach player relationships. But Max, man, I mean, he had to do something, right? I mean, his driver was just a mess.
Could be
and I'm actually very curious to see him play this week too.
Yeah, I mean, the best example of the coaching carousel is Tiger. Like why would he ever need to switch from Butch?
Right.
I mean, they won 4 majors in a row. Like what more do you need to prove that you're doing well? You win 3 majors, you win one by 15 strokes. The next one, you go to a place where you don't hit a bunker for 4 days and there's 150 bunkers on the property. You're going steering around, and then you win one in a playoff, then you take 7 months off, and then you win another major. I mean, what?
Yeah.
And then we're switching coaches. I mean, it's a carousel. It's crazy.
I mean, 4 or 5 times. I mean,
oh yeah. Yeah. But I tell you, I love Zalatoris. I think he is great for the game. I think he's a building block around that the young guy for that Ryder Cup team. He's the type of guy that would really be reliable as a ball striker. He's been so good in major championships, a lot of fun to watch. And it'd be great to see him come back. It would. I wouldn't bet him to win this week, but if the trend is your friend, a couple top 15s there in the playoffs is pretty impressive. Those were 2 good golf courses that he did that on.
Yeah, absolutely. You start getting down in here in the 60s. I think you got really good momentum right now for Harry Hall, who played really well again last week in Vegas. We were talking about him.
Yep.
Not surprised to see Harry Hall play well. Guy can really putt. And there's Woodland, who's now all the way down to 66. I got to tell you, I think Woodland, just like Zalatoris, is on his way back. I believe it. We were out in front with it last week. I said, look, he's coming, and that putter's going to turn around. Rumor had it, and it did. And look, Gary Woodland is a wonderful ball striker, folks. Like, wonderful. And he is in that category of Kitsuyama. He goes positive 1.5, 2 with that putter here. He's got a chance. There ain't no doubt. He's got a chance.
Oh, yeah.
And he knows how to win. And I'll tell you right now, if I had to pick one guy in this field that I would want to win, it'd be Gary Woodland. Now, I'm not saying that just because sentimental, and that's the reason why. I'm picking him because I think his ball striking right now is great, and I think his putting is coming. And so I was on him last week. I'm going to stay with him again this week.
All in on Woodland.
Okay. Good. Wow, we're like in agreement.
You mentioned the putter. The putter was there last week. Sometimes, I mean, you got guys like Lucas Glover and Gary Woodland that would putt better blindfolded. Like, honestly, I don't mean that as a joke. I mean, it sounds like a joke, but like they would putt better without their eyes, right? I mean, that's how much it's in there. It might be the same way with Max and his driver right now. I don't know, but their brain is in the way. If you give that person a fresh look, as good as they are at ball striking, oh man, and the golf gods like good stories. And the Zalatoris comeback or the Woodland comeback, I mean, the Woodland comeback is just unbelievable. Those stories of him waking up with the shakes and having brain surgery and everything at his age, and
crazy,
man, it's just absolutely, really, really, really wants to make you root for the guy, and he's a good guy. Like he's like one of the best guys out there by far. And I tell you that shot to help him win on the 71st hole where he pitched it off the green at Pebble Beach was one of the most iconic shots of the last 5 years. I mean, that thing, just really impressive. When he pulled that wedge out, everyone watching that on TV was like, how big a divot would I take of the green, And it's just you feel good for the guy, and the ball striking is really, really good for this golf course because he's really good with his long irons. And he can hit those dog legs and those long par fours that are over the 5 of them that are over 480. That's just in his wheelhouse. That's an area where he can separate, where other guys can't separate, where he and Kitayama can definitely separate and other guys can't. And that's a huge advantage.
So how far are we going to go down? I mean, I think for me, you could talk me into sprinkling a little on Rio. He's played well here. How do you say it?
Hisatsune?
Hisatsune. That's it. Yeah.
Hisatsune.
Yeah. Rio. Yeah. I think Hisatsune. Boy, I have a hard time with that one. I have a hard time with that one. As
well, that's all right.
I was trying to have you say it without asking the question. But Rio is, I think he's at 80. I think 85. He's got T6, T12. I mean, arguably playing some of his best golf as a professional right now.
No doubt. And obviously those guys love being at home. Yeah. That's definitely a little bit
Rio.
of
I could go Rio for sure.
So the reason I asked that is because there's another Rio Ishikawa.
Yep.
Right. And 2 weeks ago, last week was the Japan Open. And for the second year in a row, Ishikawa played really well at the Japan Open. He top 10 or top 7 or 8 or something like that. And, Ishikawa played good here last year. Just somebody, I don't know about winning, but on a placement card at long odds, I mean, there's a guy right there that could definitely pop, that people just take those 14 guys that are from the Japan Tour and throw them out the window. Well, guess what, folks? With no cut and 4 rounds at home, sleeping in your own bed, with your own culture surrounding you, your own food and everything, and your own time zone, those guys, they have an edge over the 48 guys that just got out of Vegas, and they're coming over, right? Looking for, FedEx Cup points. So just a thought there. For me, down in that range, What if I throw a little Andrew Putnam at you?
Okay. I'll go Putnam, huh?
Yeah.
Putnam.
Yep. He's been playing good.
Finished second here a couple years ago.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, just something to think, something to ponder. I think. I don't know. He's just one of those guys like a JT Poston that can just win on the PGA Tour. You know, you never see him coming, but all of a sudden those guys can win. I don't know. And I don't worry about the putter there. You know, in that range right there where he's sitting, you've got him. KH Lee played good last week. Of course, you've got Rio there. There's a couple names there, you know, that catch my attention.
Joel Damon's has 2 top 20s.
Joel Damon can't count his clubs. Did you see that story last week?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I love Joel. Love Gino.
I forgot. Ricky finished second here in 2023 also. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. How about Matt Kuchar going over there?
Putnam,
Accuracy
with
golf
Putnam.
course? Yeah, with Putnam, yeah.
With
Yep.
Putnam, yeah.
Kuchar hasn't been there before, so that's kind of gives me pause, but Kuchar's been playing great, and this is his kind of golf course, man. This is chess, not checkers. You know, it's not just bomb it and king me. This is like plodding your way around, being a really good scrambler, a really good putter, and taking advantage and then winning something because your bogey avoidance far outweighs your birdie rate, and you're able to get to 17 under and win the thing. You know, he catches my attention for sure.
All right. So I got Rio down there in the bottom, and we can come up to Putnam's interesting. Yeah, I think that's I'll stay with Woodland in that range though at 65.
All right.
I think Harry Hall's playing some good golf.
Well, the board I'm looking at has Gary at 75 and Putnam at 80.
Okay.
So just for the hundreds of people that are watching there on the counter.
Siwoo, what do you got him at 40? Siwoo's at 40 still. Kitayama.
Siwoo, I see. Kitayama. Kitayama's already down to 25.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote about him yesterday. I said, as soon as people model this guy, he's going to be right at the top behind the big three, right? And then everyone's going to bet the heck out of that guy. And the floor just fell out. He was 35 yesterday when I was writing that article. And now he's 25 on the boards, on the aggregator that I'm looking at right here, which I think you and I use the same one. So,
yeah.
Kitayama's 25. Siwoo's 35. Who else did you like in there? This could be a good Taylor Moore golf course too, by the way. He played good last week. Gary's 75, Putnam's 80. There you go.
So after this week, then we have a bye week.
Yep. Then we go to Mexico.
Mexico.
That Tiger course that had the 100-yard wide fairways, and EVR won at 27 under. Big birdie fest. Yep. El Diamante, I think it was called.
Yep.
Cabo. Yeah. So.
All right. Good stuff.
We might even get a Tiger appearance. You know, we're getting close to December. It's Tiger time.
Hopefully he's feeling well. You know, hopefully, it's almost November. So we'll get through 4 tournaments after the break.
Yeah.
3.
We have 3 left. We have
3 left.
We have Worldwide, we have Bermuda, and then we have RSM. And then this is the 5th of 8. And then you got, after Thanksgiving, you've got the Hero, and then that's about it. But I got a question for you.
The match play in Vegas for boy Bryson and Brooks against Scotty and Roy.
Yeah. I'm curious. We haven't really talked about this before, but they broke the schedule this week for that TGL, right? The Indoor Simulator League. With a scale of 1 to 10, what's your interest in that?
I think I'll say 8.
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of into indoor golf. Obviously, I got a full studio here, so I'm fascinated to see. And I know some people that are working on it, and they've been kind of keeping me up to speed on it. And I'm interested to see how it just kind of lands. The matches and the simulator and the way that they interact with it, and then the way the short game kind of comes more to life, not using the simulator and the format. I'd say 8. I'm reasonably interested. I'm more interested and then I don't know, probably the fall schedule.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Another season of Live, right?
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
so
no, I'm with you. I am, definitely optimistic. I'm with you up there. I'll give it an 8 or 9. I'll give it
yeah,
I'll give it I'll give it 3 or 4 weeks, not just 1 week, but I'll give it 3 or 4 weeks for it to kind of figure itself out, and, like, the design of the golf courses and what they're trying to do, and, I give the folks a lot of credit, man, because they're
it's well
definitely
thought out.
doing
There's
something they're doing
mhm,
something different, and
they
that's
are.
hard.
They are. Very different, well thought out. I think it's gonna come across really cool, like any other new product, especially with live TV. There's gonna be kinks to work out, but
Yeah.
I think they got the right people involved, and I'm 8, yeah, 8 plus, maybe 9. I'm interested to watch the first couple and then go from there.
I mean, I think a lot of times, and you can tell me how you feel about this, but, like, when you see something on TV, like a certain golf shot
Yeah,
or, a view or something like that, and you go, "Man, I really wanna do that." If this projector screen that they're gonna hit into is 60 feet wide and 40 feet tall, I'd love to do that just once
right.
and see what happens. I mean, we us, a guy like you or I, you're taller than I am, but like you standing in front of that screen would look like,
Yeah.
basically a bug on a windshield, right? And like to smoke a drive into that, however far we hit it or whatever, I think that would be really cool to do,
I
like
can't wait. I can't wait until the first player is like, "Well, I think that distance is not right. The simulator's wrong." I mean, that's
yeah.
how many times we get that in here, right, in the men's league. But
Oh yeah.
I hit my driver, like,
I
no.
carry it 306. Come on.
I can't wait till the first one.
247.
Who's the first one that's like, "No, I think that simulator is wrong." I don't that I hit it a lot longer than that.
I think it's gonna be interesting because that's a pretty big commitment for those guys, like
Oh,
15
yeah.
weeks of that thing, I know they only play, like, once every 3 weeks or something like that, right? But, like, between that and all the signature events that are front loaded before the Masters, we're gonna see a lot of these stars
Yep.
pretty often, which is kinda cool for golf, I think,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fascinating. I really do. I think it's really an interesting concept, and
I
I think
agree.
most people are gonna give it a go, and I think if it's entertaining, it lands well. I mean, indoor golf's is different. The learning curve, there's a learning curve, especially here in Florida, and,
Yeah.
um, what can you really get done indoors? A lot.
Oh
When
god.
I'm working on technique and helping players, their games, there's a lot you can get done. Now, can you get everything done? No. I mean, eventually you'll play golf on a golf course. I get that.
Yeah.
But, you know, 15, 25 handicap or even a scratch player comes in here and they got something to work out, right? I mean, get good numbers, good video, good tech. Let's take a look at it. Here's what we want
Yeah.
to do. Let's work on it. Let's get some training going on, and then take it outdoors. So there's a lot you can get done. The simulators are very versatile in the graphics and the way they can interact with and games and other things they can do. So I'm curious to see like the graphics package, right? And just the way all that lands just with the basics of, okay, they hit a drive and how far did it go and those kinds of things.
Yeah, the stuff I've seen is cool, man.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to hear that you're excited about it because I'm excited about it too. I mean, I think that uh I'm not against live or anything, but you did the same thing that everybody else does. And they say that it's like, it's different because it's a shotgun and they wear shorts, but
Yeah.
like, 90% of the country plays golf in shotguns and shorts. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that didn't reinvent the wheel. This is like really trying to engage somebody different toward the
I think
sport.
so.
And, you know, I'm excited to hear that I was, it's kind of building some momentum with all the announcements and everything. And I meant to ask you a couple times, but I'm glad I remembered. And, I'm even more excited that you're into it because I'm into it
Yeah.
too. And we'll see where it goes.
All right, man. Keith Stewart at Read the Line. We are off next week. Got a couple instructional pods coming at you, so stay
Oh,
tuned for that. Have a good week, everybody.
see you in 2.